Hello and welcome back once again to the Wrestling Group. I'm your host as always, Ryan, and today we're going to be doing a little preview and predictions for the NXT main event tonight. So we have the NXT champion, which is Femi, and he will be taking on the TNA champion, which of course is NXT superstar Trick Williams. Now they will be facing in a one-on-one match tonight, and it's title for title. So whoever wins will take both belts. So this was announced last week, and as it was announced, the commentators made a very big point of repeatedly telling us that TNA superstars had taken to Twitter to voice their concerns of the fact that once again an NXT wrestler will be going for the TNA World Championship instead of TNA wrestlers obviously getting a shot. So they obviously have voiced their displeasure. Trick, like I say, is an NXT superstar, and he is the TNA World Champion. He's had it for a few months now. He's defended it a couple of times. But obviously last week when they announced this match was going to go ahead, which, by the way, isn't a takeover. It's not at a special event. It's just a normal NXT episode, which obviously has us questioning, well, why have they done this for an NXT normal episode rather than a takeover? And the simple explanation I can give for it is the fact that we are not going to get the match in full. I feel like we're going to get it for a certain amount of time, and then we are going to be getting a TNA invasion tonight. That is my prediction. I think that TNA superstars are going to invade NXT and probably attack both guys, obviously meaning that the match gets thrown out and we don't get a overall winner, which then means obviously both guys get to keep their titles. Femi will remain NXT champion and Trick Williams will remain TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Now obviously the main reason for this is, like say, they repeatedly made reference to TNA superstars obviously going on Twitter. Like I had a look through last week, the likes of Matt Hardy and Matt Cardona and other wrestlers like that kept saying how they were not happy the fact that obviously NXT superstars were getting a shot. So I'd expect us to start looking at doing like an invasion story, pretty much because so far the NXT TNA thing's been pretty flat, hasn't it? It was all exciting at the beginning. We had some crossovers. Obviously, the very beginning, Jordan Grace, obviously she was the Knockouts champion. She crossed over to get a shot at the NXT Women's Championship. That was good. That was exciting. Joe Hendry showing up every now and again, even as TNA World Champion at WrestleMania to face Randy Orton. These type of things were exciting at the beginning, and it's been pretty stale for a while now. Obviously, we've had the NXT and the Knockouts Championships. They've been held by the same wrestler. So the idea was to make you believe that obviously that was going to be the case. But I don't think anyone believes that's going to be the case because it was, like I say, it was literally announced last week for this week. There's no build to it. It's not on a takeover. It's not on a special episode of NXT. It's just literally a random NXT episode. And obviously, like I say, they repeatedly made a thing of saying about the TNA wrestlers. So I'm going to say that TNA wrestlers invade. They attack both guys, laying them out. And then this will lead to a TNA versus NXT match of sorts, maybe a War Games match. Who knows? NXT do like doing the War Games. We have seen them at Survivor Series for the last couple of years, but there's a possibility that we could go back to NXT and we could get NXT versus TNA in a War Games match, which that'd actually start to make it exciting. See, the problem with me at the moment is NXT does little bits where it brings me in. And then TNA's been unbearable for the past 2 years, unfortunately. Like, I really was into TNA for a long while. And then obviously stopped watching for so many years, and then come back and got right into it again. And unfortunately, it's got to the point where it's pretty forgettable most weeks, unfortunately. And you are looking at, if we do a team TNA versus Team NXT, then most of Team TNA is probably going to be former WWE guys anyway. So, I mean, like Nick Nemeth and Matt Cardona and Brian Myers, Matt and Jeff Hardy, we don't really need to see this. And if we do it where it's the likes of Moose and stuff like that, who obviously haven't wrestled for WWE, then it'd be more exciting. But a lot of the TNA roster now is former WWE guys, and they are getting on. So, I mean, I don't know what the excitement level is to see the Hardy Boys in a War Games match. Maybe it's something that doesn't excite you. I'm a massive Hardy Boys fan. They've obviously always been my favourite tag team, but they are at the point now where they can barely walk. So, for me, there's I don't want to see the Hardys in a War Games match. I don't see the appeal. Maybe that's just me. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. Basically, let me know what you think is going to happen tonight. Do you think we're actually going to get one superstar become double champion? Or do you think, like me, we're going to get a TNA invasion, which will then lead, obviously, to neither guy getting a win, what's called a no contest, isn't it? No contest, or a double DQ, whichever way you want to look at it. Both guys keep the belts, and then we go into a storyline of NXT versus TNA properly, because let's be honest, they've been flirting with it for a long while now, and I think it's time to just pull the trigger or close up shop. So they've got to do something to try and get the story back on track, to get people back interested. Like I said, I find that it's going to be hard. It's going to be a struggle because, they lost one of the most exciting things in the company, which for me was Jordynne Grace. She was one of the main reasons I kept tuning into TNA, was for her, and obviously they lost her to NXT. So I don't know how exciting now. I feel like they could have done it last year. They could have done like a Worlds Collide, or a pay-per-view where they had TNA versus NXT. Don't know how much excitement levels there are for that now, because they've waited so long. So, like I say, let me know your thoughts. Do you think that Trick's going to win? Oba's going to win? Or do you think, like me, it's going to be a no contest? Let me know. Also, let me know what you think of maybe a TNA versus NXT War Games match, or, like I say, some sort of match between TNA and NXT, or even a pay-per-view. Because you could do it with the women's as well. Like I say, let me know in the comment section below. And as always, don't forget, leave us a like, drop us a comment, and if you haven't already, which I'm sure you have by now, but don't forget, of course, to subscribe to the wrestling group today. Thanks.